Hi, my name is Lucio Kendo. I'm in the linguistics class, and I'm going to be talking about our project, our assignment. I did mine on To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. I chose a section in the book where there's a courtroom scene, and the judge, the lawyer Atticus, and Mayella are involved in the conversation. I wanted to tell you why I chose this section because when I first read the book To Kill a Mockingbird in 8th grade, I had no idea what the book was about. I had no idea that Scott was narrating the story and she spoke about herself. I had no clue what the story was about. But the scene in the courtroom, I understood. I was able to relate to the defendant, Miss Mayella, even though I only spoke busted up Spanish and busted up slang English. But it was the scene that I was able to understand because my mother and her place in her society, where she came from. I understood how women were from a low class, even lower class, if there's such a thing, because they live in shacks instead of houses, and they would only have two outfits, one to play outside and the other one for school. Then my mom told me that they would make clothes out of the old potato sacks that were itchy and so uncomfortable. But that was all they had, simply because clothing material is so expensive. What we considered to be an art in making clothes or bringing clothes to the laundromat was a necessity trade during the time of my mother while she was growing up. But I understood more than anything that Harper Lee's book To Kill a Mockingbird was the control of a father had on Mayella and how he manipulated her even in the court of justice. I can only imagine what my mother went through in her life and her father and taking her out of school to serve him. And he beat her, and then he ended up giving her away to her friends. So, I kind of understand Mayella, and that was why it was really easy for me to understand that section of the book. So let's talk about Mayella. Mayella Violet Ewell is a 19-year-old white lady in the south of Macomb County. She is what white people would consider as white trash. She had no education, and her father used her as a laborer in his farm. There, they were dirt poor. According to Harper Lee's book, who during the Jim Crow law, the father had accused a young black man of raping and beating his daughter. However, she was forced to lie about the incident because no white girls were allowed to be with any black men during the 60s. Harper Lee does an excellent job showing how two people in a courtroom, one lawyer named Atticus and a defendant named Mayella, they were from two different classes of education in the book To Kill a Mockingbird. So here's Miss Mayella. She believes she's being mocked. She's told to take the stand for questioning, and Judge Taylor notices that Mayella is sobbing and asks, why is she so scared? So this is the judge. She points to him. She points to Atticus. She says, him. Now I'm going to do my best in trying to use her accent, okay? And the judge says, who, Mr. Finch? That's Finch Atticus. She nodded vigorously, saying, don't want him doing me like he done Papa, trying to make him out left-handed. If you notice in the theory of social linguistics, Mayella, instead of saying trying with a G, she says trying. This is due to her socioeconomic status and ethnicity, according to Parker and Riley. It is a form of how Mayella learned to listen to these words called phonology. In her phonological rules, which generalizes describing the pronunciation of segments according to their, in this case, her position. So words like doing will be doing, done will mean finished, kindling is firewood. Even the way she says armoire or wardrobe, she uses the word called chifforobe, which is spelled Chifforob. So here's an example of using that word chifforobe. She went on to describe how she was a victim of beating and rape. Now, this is her talking when she was questioned. Well, sir, I was on the porch and he came along, and you see there was this old chifforobe in the yard Papa brought in to chop off for kindling. Papa told me to do it while he was off in the woods, but I wasn't feeling strong enough then, so he came by. I said, come, N-I-G-G-E-R, and bust up this chifforobe for me. I got a nickel for you. He could have done it enough. He could. So he come in the yard and I went in the house to get him the nickel, and I turned around, and before I knew it, he come on me. Now here's the Counselor Atticus talking. The Counselor Atticus was questioning her about the case and refers to her as ma'am, and she thought that she was being mocked. He did not know how to change her language, nor did she understand formalities versus informalities. So lastly, she was not able to get herself out of her world. Mayella refused to answer Atticus' question. "Won't answer a word you say as long as you keep mocking me," she said. "Ma'am," said Atticus Finch. He's kind of startled about this. "Long you keep on making fun of me." Mayella was not used to the politeness, formalities, and respect. She was always treated like a lowlife. The only person lower was the African American, and they lived in the area. Another theory was that the theory of standard and non-standard dialect. This is on page 161 of Parker and Riley. According to the standard dialect, Mayella was not able to realize a language variety held in esteem by a particular community and generally associated with education and used for mainstream media. Again, this is Parker Riley, page 230. She was not able to distinguish the difference between non-standard English and a variety of English which contains socially marked and linguistic form that can be cause a listener to form a negative social judgment of the speaker. Another reality is that it was what they call an isoglossis. An isoglossis is when I idealize a geographical boundary between the use of linguistic variety of features and another. So she couldn't distinguish herself from speaking in her situation where she grew up versus in a courtroom. She didn't know how to use proper words, and she didn't know how to speak clearly. And she kept referring to the way she spoke. So that was the isoglossis part. Well, in conclusion, I tell you all, funny, but you is a plural as well as singular, and we as Americans cannot accept it. We have to say it so that we can think that it's all included. You all. Out in the Midwest, we would say all of you. We are consumed by what is told to us by our society. I don't blame Mayella, nor do I expect her to change. One cannot blame if anyone who struggles with the English language. It is too vague and it does bring lots of doubts. So it kind of falls into the same theory that we believe in. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.